You're gonna hear about my party, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we wanna have a good time.
Diddy had every room taped and bugged. Diddy had, yo, bruh, can you imagine? He had every room taped and bugged, and they found little bugs or little tape recorders. I mean, little those micro projectors or whatever like that, or video cameras. They found them in the house, bro. So by them having those things in the house, and people know there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's loose women, there's loose men, woman on woman, man on man, all kind of crazy shit. Bruh, they just wondering who or when they're gonna let this stuff be known.
Like when we had got hit with Hit 'em Up, I had to make the call to Biggie, and I said, we're not gonna respond. Somebody's gonna get hurt if we respond. Tupac hit us with Hit 'em Up, and that joint was cold. You know what I'm saying? I was listening to that.
Diddy Combs is facing another long list of sexual misconduct allegations. He's in jail awaiting trials on charges of trafficking women for sex parties. He's pleaded not guilty. An attorney in Houston says he represents 120 people who say Combs abused them as well. The allegations are disturbing.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
Combs' lawyer said he denies any claim that he sexually abused anyone, including minors.
The last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings.
Today, I was in court for Cassie Ventura's second day of disturbing testimony against Sean Diddy Combs. And inside courtroom 26A in Lower Manhattan, the jury saw for the first time direct material from these so-called freak-offs that she says she was forced to endure.
Diddy didn't just panic in court today. He collapsed. Inside a packed federal courtroom, the man once seen as untouchable didn't merely lose his composure, he lost everything. One of his lawyers slammed a folder shut and walked out. Moments later, Diddy hit the floor. And it wasn't a dramatic stunt. According to multiple eyewitnesses, he physically crumbled, eyes shut and unresponsive. The court had to recess immediately. Why? Because the prosecution had just revealed evidence so explosive, so undeniable, that even Diddy's own team couldn't spin it. But this story isn't just about one man. It's about what happens when a carefully crafted empire begins to implode in real time. What was revealed wasn't just shocking, it was devastating. And the worst part? This may only be the beginning.
And so we're going to have a lot of information coming at these jurors fast and furiously. We will see Sean Diddy Combs in court today to decide what the fate will be. But opening statements, Sarah, this is the moment you're going to hear from the prosecution to lay out their case. What will they allege? What do they want the jurors to know, to hang on to, and what will be an 8 to 10 week trial?
The courtroom was already tense, marked by weeks of delays, endless speculation, and whispers of sealed files and secret footage. However, no one expected what happened next. Diddy's new legal team had just begun to settle into the rhythm of the trial when everything unraveled. The prosecution stood up and presented a hard drive. On it, metadata, private messages, surveillance footage, not allegations, proof. One of Diddy's own attorneys, brought in to stabilize the defense, reportedly stood up mid-presentation, slammed a folder shut, and stormed out without saying a word. No objection, no explanation, just walked. Minutes later, as footage played, Diddy leaned forward, gripping the table with both hands, and then collapsed. His body slumped, his eyes shut, and for a full 10 seconds, he didn't respond. Court was immediately recessed. This wasn't courtroom theatrics, this was a man unraveling.
We're also expecting to hear from an escort who is seen as a witness in this case as well. We heard last week from the defense they're planning on attacking Ventura as well, saying that she was mutual in the domestic violence in this case, saying that she was violent toward Combs.
So what exactly was revealed? Let's break it down. According to insiders, prosecutors introduced what they called unredacted primary source data: timestamps, logs, travel itineraries, payment records, and deleted texts that had been recovered and decrypted. But that wasn't the worst of it. A second exhibit was presented, an encrypted video file pulled from a seized hard drive. As it played, multiple people in the courtroom described Diddy's face going pale, with his leg visibly shaking under the table. The footage reportedly showed a non-consensual, controlled environment and multiple recognizable high-profile figures. This wasn't speculation. This was visual, time-stamped, and verified. And the prosecution made it very clear. This is just the beginning.
Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, testified today. You remember that CNN last year published a hotel surveillance video from 2016 showing Combs attacking Ventura. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. If convicted, Sean Combs could spend the rest of his life in prison.
The man who walked out wasn't just an associate. It was Mark Agnifilo, a seasoned federal criminal defense attorney with a resume that includes war crime cases, racketeering trials, and high-stakes conspiracy defenses. According to multiple insiders, Agnifilo didn't simply excuse himself. He stood, shook his head, and walked straight out of a federal courtroom, while his billionaire client sat there trembling. No objections, no strategy meeting, just disbelief. Later, reports surfaced that Agnifilo told court staff he was considering withdrawing from the case altogether, citing a conflict of defense strategy and a lack of transparency. Translation? Diddy didn't tell him everything. And for a lawyer like Agnifilo to even suggest quitting a case of this magnitude, something must have gone very wrong.
And we have more breaking news. Opening statements are underway in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. Prosecutors claim Combs ran a criminal enterprise with his trusted inner circle and committed crime after crime for 20 years. Now the defense is responding, accusing the government of trying to turn choices among consenting adults into a racketeering case.
Here's the chilling part. The more evidence surfaced, the clearer it became. This wasn't just a chaotic lifestyle, this was an organized machine. Emails showed Diddy's team instructing party guests to sign NDAs, surrender phones, and avoid balconies to prevent photos. A rotation of celebrity guests was mentioned, some of whom allegedly knew what was going on behind closed doors and kept coming back. Prosecutors presented a sealed document alleging that several assistants and party planners were directly involved in coordinating these events. It wasn't merely about what Diddy did. It was about how many people assisted him and how far they were willing to go to conceal it.
Today, in a New York federal courtroom, Sean Diddy Combs told the judge he was, quote, a little nervous. The rap mogul's criminal trial began this morning. He is sex trafficking, racketeering, and more. The two sides are now in the process of selecting a jury of 12, plus all.
Remember when people online joked about Diddy facing RICO charges? Well, it's not a meme anymore. It's in legal filings. The prosecution's latest strategy focuses on proving this isn't just one man misbehaving, but a pattern of organized exploitation, cover-ups, and financial gain. Legally speaking, this opens the door to racketeering charges. Sources now confirm that at least 5 additional witnesses, ranging from transportation coordinators to security staff, are cooperating with federal agents. Some have already provided internal messages and event planning documents. The goal? To demonstrate that this wasn't isolated behavior, it was a business model, and that's exactly what RICO laws were designed to prosecute.
This morning, that's what we're hoping to see happen any time now. And less than 30 minutes ago, Kate, it was a flurry of activity behind us at this courthouse as we saw people make their way inside of the courtroom. One of Diddy's accusers actually in the front of that line waiting to get inside.
Within hours of Diddy's courtroom collapse, the ripple effects were undeniable. This wasn't just a few social media unfollows. Entire brand partnerships vanished overnight. One media conglomerate scrubbed Diddy's image from 2 televised award shows, and his name was quietly removed from sponsorship contracts. A luxury fashion brand that just signed Diddy for a capsule collection? Gone. His promotional materials were pulled, Instagram posts deleted, and placeholders appeared where his name once was. 3 more fashion collaborations? Frozen indefinitely. Behind the scenes, insiders say panic is setting in, not from morality, but from fear. The kind of fear that only comes when you realize the iceberg is larger than anyone expected.
The final phase of jury selection in Sean Diddy Combs' federal criminal trial is getting underway. 12 jurors and 6 alternates. They are expected to be seated this morning, and then opening statements begin. We could see also the prosecution's key witness.
Here's what most people don't realize. When a defense lawyer like Agnifilo walks out, it's not just about the evidence, it's about the client. According to whispers from inside the courthouse, Diddy hadn't disclosed everything to his team. And once they saw the footage, the logs, and the sealed filings, they realized they couldn't ethically proceed. You don't abandon a billionaire client mid-trial unless you know it's about to get worse. And that's exactly what happened. Agnifilo reportedly told court staff he couldn't guarantee an ethical defense if the client wasn't transparent. In legal terms, that's a disaster. In real-world terms, that's a team falling apart before the trial even hits week 2.
We expect to see firearms and ammunition that were seized during search warrants at Sean Combs' homes. There should be drugs also alluded to in the indictment and medical records of the victims showing that there was force used.
When you see these RICO cases and you see here like 8 weeks of testimony in this, you tend to say, oh, this must be a complicated case.
What's becoming clear is that this isn't just the fall of Diddy, it's the fall of an entire protection system. From assistants to executives, party planners to publicists, people who once stood by him are now running. Why? Because the feds have the paper trail. Surveillance footage from properties Diddy forgot even had cameras, deleted messages that have been fully restored, and event timelines that match Cassie's original lawsuit to the day. And behind those redacted documents are real names. Names of people who booked the flights, rented the venues, and sent the invites. They're no longer safe in the shadows. If prosecutors can prove those people helped facilitate, conceal, or profit from this behavior, it's no longer just a scandal, it's racketeering.
Another expectation that we have today, we're hoping to hear from some of the government's witnesses. They said they're hoping to present 3 witnesses this week, and that includes Cassie Ventura, like you mentioned, longtime former girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs. She's seen as one of the central witnesses to the prosecution's case.
After the courtroom recess, media outlets went wild. But the real story? It's in what wasn't posted. Entire panels at upcoming music conferences were quietly canceled. Podcast bookings vanished. Publicists for A-list artists refused to comment. It wasn't silence, it was damage control. And not for Diddy, for themselves. Because this isn't just a lawsuit. It's a threat to the entire celebrity ecosystem, and the panic is real. Everyone's wondering the same thing. Who else is on those tapes? Because once those names get unsealed, it's not just Diddy's legacy that's over. It's careers, companies, possibly even networks.
There is the video, the surveillance video from 2016 in a hotel showing the vicious attack by Sean Combs on Cassandra Ventura. And of course, there's other evidence alluded to in the indictment. We expect to see some of these bottles of baby oil and lubricant from the so-called freak-off.
So here we are. The lawyer is halfway out the door. The prosecution holds tapes, the brands are scattering, and the courtroom has just begun whispering, RICO. This isn't a defense falling apart, it's a system collapsing from the inside. And the question that no one dares to say out loud, but everyone is thinking, is simple. Who helped him keep it going? Because whoever they are, they're next.